Here at Site B, we're walking to the store because that's what we do. And I'm taking you with me because it's nice to get outside. If you notice, there was no tabletop role-playing game news today. No sales or anything like that. We're still not sure why. I'm assuming it's because of the weather and the tariffs and maybe what's going on in the rest of the country, but whatever. No controversial statements yet, but I do notice a lot of people are talking about dungeon building again, which is a good thing. We've talked about dungeon building before, but it's always nice to revisit, refresh, and reapproach the idea from maybe new insight. Have we learned anything new about dungeon building in the last year? Is there ways to go through the whole how to build a dungeon much quicker than maybe I've wasted time on in the past? And yeah, there probably is. You know, we can ignore the whole what is a dungeon, blah, 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 blah stuff. We've talked about that a lot. Let's just break it down to the simplest kernels of whatever your proposed dungeon adventure is. Who built it and why? Unless it's a cave. But then, you know, you can ask yourself, instead of who built it and why, how? How did this cave come to be, and why did monsters move into it? I mean, the who built it or how it got built. Natural or unnatural source forces built this place, whether it be a cave system, a fort, a mine, whatever. Something set a series of events into motion to bring this place into existence. How did that happen? Why? When did that happen? Why did it happen? You'll find, I think, in most cases, the universe doesn't set out to build a dungeon. You know, these dangerous, monster-infested, trap-filled environments, they're not created because that's specifically what somebody wanted to do, unless we're talking about like a Sarasac. But in most cases, they just sort of happen, right? Usually it starts out at one thing, and then just a series of things happen, and next thing you know, it's a trap-filled, monster-filled, quote-unquote, dungeon. So, you know, who built it, or how did it come to be, and why? Why, I think, is the most important question you have to ask whenever you're sitting down at a piece of paper and designing your dungeon, your whatever, your adventure. Why is it here? Why did it happen? What is it doing? What is the story the dungeon needs to tell? And what is its job? Is it doing its job? Why are there adventurers going into this hole in the ground, or whatever it is? What happens after they leave? Does it remain stagnant? Is it a living, breathing thing? Blah, 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 blah. All right, so, you know, let's just go with something simple. Gold mine. We all love a haunted mine dungeon. I love a haunted mine dungeon. So, gold mine. Gold mine, how did that come to happen? Somebody discovered gold, right? So there you have the beginning of your story. And then, as usual with gold mines, digging commenced. And as digging commenced, there were collapses, there were deaths, there were things that were found down there that maybe nobody expected, like stalactites, stalagmites, underwater rivers, open pockets, gas pockets, monsters, whatever. Ruins from an ancient civilization. A little early for Christmas, but whatever. So the mine progresses, and sometimes the mine makes sense, sometimes the paths in the mine don't make sense. We can't cut through this, cut around it. There was a collapse, don't go that way. Whatever, your adventure is slowly building. Then, for some reason, the mine stops. In the real world, and most likely in the adventure world, the mine runs dry. Whatever it is that you're digging for, you've gone as far as you can go. The technology does not allow you to do anymore. The mine has run out. Now, the second a mine runs out, the lifeblood of the mine, everything that the mine has contributed to, starts to trickle away. That's how we get ghost towns. There's no money, there's no jobs, we're gonna move. But it's not like the mine went away, it's still there. Now you add to that the presence of fictional stuff in a D&D world where there's monsters and stuff, and you have a 90% likely, 90% likely that they abandoned the mine because it just ran out or flooded or there was a collapse or whatever. And 10% monsters. Either there were monsters there or monsters moved in. Whatever. So now we need your help to go into the mine, to clear out the threats, and then, I don't know what happens to the mine after you do that. Do they come back? Is the mine still profitable? Or is the mine a waste? And once the threat of the monsters is done, it's like, well, I guess we got this hole in the ground. I don't know what we're going to do with it. Does that mean monsters come back? Do they shut the mine down? Do they turn the mine into a tourist trap? But that's for, the rest of the adventure. You have the impetus, the beginning of your story, the kernel. How? It was built by miners. What happened? They abandoned it. Why did they abandon it? The money ran out, or monsters. Why do you need adventurers? Because now there's monsters. What do the adventurers find? Whatever the monsters are made, whatever the people who built it left behind. How did that get there? Well, they built it while they were mining, or whatever your story is. Whatever your story is. Once you have the how did it happen, why is that there? Why is that trap there? Is that trap there to keep things out? Is that trap there to keep things in? Was that trap just sort of made by mistake? Was that trap put there for some insidious reason that the adventurers fall into later on? But maybe their owners of the mine are trying to kill off the diggers, because it's just not profitable anymore to keep paying them. I don't know. I'm not designing a haunted mine in the 2 minutes we have left on our walk. I noticed there's a lot of videos and posts lately about dungeon design, which is wonderful because I'd rather talk about dungeon or adventure design than whatever it is we're upset about today. So, even though we've talked about it 1,000 times before, it's nice to refresh, to look at the situation with brand new eyes and, I want to build this adventure. Okay, what is this adventure? What is this adventure's job? How did this adventure get there? Why is these series of events happening? Why is this door locked? Why is this door there? Why are these goblins here? Why are the goblins doing what they're doing? There's got to be a reason. I mean, not always. We're talking about goblins, but, where did the undead come from? Where did the giant snail come from? How did these things get there? Ask yourself that, and you're one step closer to making your next... Ooh, what's that? Is it a VHS? No, it's a sound system. You're one step closer. Does this mean I'm designing a dungeon? I've got something pittering around in the back of my brain for when I finish what I'm working on now. That is a little bit more fantasy-esque, but it's just a vague bubble, and it's not anything serious yet, so I don't feel comfortable talking about it. Just thought I'd drag you along on my walk and talk about our favorite subject, adventure design. So, who built it and why? See ya. Work.